Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. My name is Mates Wazan, and today we will be covering part two of um, fear. On the last video, I had asked you to make a list of all your fears because in this video, we are gonna be crushing those fears. So we are gonna go through them. We're gonna, I'm gonna show you how you can face your fear and deal with it and overcome it. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So, conquering your fear. So, here's a quote from Bob Proctor. It goes, "Do what you fear, and fear will disappear." So, how many times have you ever tried that? There's something that you've been really putting off just because you're afraid of doing it, you're afraid of trying it. And then when you do it, it's like nothing. And then you kind of laugh at yourself and you go, all this time you've been afraid of doing it, and then it's really nothing, right? And here's another quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. It goes, "Do the thing you fear, and the death of fear is certain." So it's pretty much the same idea. So it's pretty much just stepping into your fear and just do it anyway. Don't even worry about your fear. Don't even think about it. So how do you stare fear in the face? So I will be sharing with you these four questions that you want to be asking yourself if you really want to get rid of your fear or if you really want to overcome your fear. So number one is you ask yourself, why do I fear this? What is it? Or ask yourself, what is it about this fear that scares me? What is it about that thing that you're fearing that scares you? So remember when I asked you to make a list of all your fears, and I asked you to sort them from your biggest fear to the smallest one. The reason that I asked you to do that is so when you've overcome your biggest one, when you look at your smallest fear, it would be like nothing to you because you're going to be referring to the biggest fear and you're going to be remembering how you've overcome that fear. And you will now look at the small fear and really just maybe laugh at it just because you'll see how silly it is to actually fear that, right? So moving on, the next question you ask is, if I did it anyway, what's the worst that could happen? And the next, you ask yourself, if I did not do it, what's the worst that could happen? And the last question you ask yourself is, if I did do it, what's the best that can happen? And we're going to go over these ones. We're going to go over these questions so you have a better idea of how you may be responding to them, responding to each one. So here's an example. Starting a business. That's just one example. There's still so many things. There's maybe fear of asking out a girl or a guy maybe on a date or something. There's this is just one example because this is something that I can totally relate to. So that's why I just cited it as an example. So starting a business. So we first go through the very first question, which is, why do I fear this, or what is it about it that scares me, right? And then you just come up with answers to that. It could be that you've never started a business before, or because maybe you've tried and failed before, or maybe it's that you don't really know what to do, or you don't know how to get started, and and you're thinking, what if you lost all your money? And all other reasons you can come up with for having that fear. And then you ask yourself, if I did it anyway, what's the worst that could happen? So if you have the fear and you did it anyway, you think of what the worst things that can happen, right? So you might come up with answers like, I might I might fail, or I might lose all my investment, or my family or friends will make fun of or laugh at me. So these are the things you might be going through, right? So these are some scenarios you're giving yourself. So it could be that you'd be stuck in your old boring job. So that's the worst that could happen if you did it anyway and you failed. And all other reasons you can come up with. And then the next question you ask yourself is, if I did not do it, what's the worst that could happen? So this is, so because of that fear, you ended up not doing it. Think what the worst is that could happen. You could be stuck in your miserable job, or it may not be miserable, but it's just something that you don't enjoy, right? Or you could be working for someone else for the rest of your life and never get to live your dreams. Or maybe you're thinking, you'd feel like you're not going to be living your life to the fullest, and you'll be missing out on all the good life has to offer. And all other reasons you can think of, all other things that that you can think of for not doing it. And then the last question is this: if I did do it, what's the best that can happen? So if you end up doing the thing that you fear, you can get to be free. You can get to provide your family a better quality of life. You can get to travel more. You can get to take your family to lots of fun vacations. You get to live your dreams. You get to help others live their dreams as well. Just because you already have that experience, people are going to look to you and and wonder, or maybe ask you how you did it, and you will have that experience, you will have that knowledge, you will have that confidence to share with them what you did, that that helped you accomplish, that made you accomplish that dream, that goal. And then you get to fully live and reach your fullest potential, and you'd be free to do whatever you want with the people you love, whenever you want, wherever you want, however you want, and many other things you can think of. As you'll see, this list is way longer than the others, right? So whatever your fear is, just answer these questions, and you'll notice that a lot of times, if you actually just went and did it anyway, there's a whole lot of benefits to doing something that you fear, right? It's especially if it's to do, well, usually it's stepping out of the comfort zone that fears us, because we're not comfortable doing something that we've never done before. So it scares us a little bit. So fear, usually, really, we just need to dissect it and evaluate it. Instead of just seeing the fear and succumbing to it, it's giving up to it, it's giving it our power. We ended up, most times we end up not doing anything just because of the fear. So we can always dissect that fear and evaluate it, because when you think about it, most of our fears reside only in our minds. We are the only limits to our own potential. So we must not allow our fears to stop us from achieving the kind of life that we truly want to live, and that is our birthright. And I would recommend that you read Bob Proctor's book, You Were Born Rich, and you will know that abundance is our birthright. So it looks like that's the end of my slideshow. I thank you so much for watching. I hope you find value, and I hope you've learned something, and I hope now you've learned how to overcome your fear and step into that fear and just go live the life of your dreams. Go live the way you truly want to live. So if you find value in today's video and the last video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and share with those whom you think might benefit from knowing this information. Again, thank you so much for watching. Have yourself an awesome day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.